I'm attempting to load into one. Anyways, we can see the bands here, or the first few picks. Invoker was first picked. I mean, you mentioned this is the hero right now. Well, it seems China also agrees. Vici, though, Mirana first 2 picks with a Dragon Knight. Okay. That's something kind of cool and different. I can get on board with that.
Oh, I'm somehow behind you, I think.
I have the Chinese stream up. I'm actually not in TV yet.
Streaming. Interesting.
Yeah. So there might be like
let me pop over to the stream.
2-minute delay on Dota TV or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I'm not going to put up with that. One moment.
I didn't even manage to get in Dota TV yet. It's slowly happening. So FY used to be one of the best support Miranas. Back when support Mirana was a thing.
Even sometimes when support Mirana wasn't really a thing. I remember a game that was pretty recent where he just cleaned up on Potom. What was that? Maybe the Frankfurt Major or TI5? TI5 he had a couple Potom games that were very, very, very good.
10 seconds remaining.
So possibly
one interesting thing about Potom, she gets Ether Lens doesn't actually make the arrow go farther, which is a shame.
Is it? I mean, I feel like you wouldn't get. Would you actually get that item if it did?
No, probably not.
It is a shame, though. I agree, but I don't think it matters too much.
It might not be the. I mean, the thing about Aether Lens is it's so cheap and it's so broken. So I don't know. Maybe
the stats on it's ridiculous because everyone wants magic resistance. HP regen is it's like a nice alternative to having to get Tranquil Boots when you can go the Aether Lens instead.
Right, and you can disassemble Blue Boots into it, which is huge.
Yep. So we'll just stay on the Chinese stream. We can see the player shots there until the draft ends at least. And then we know it's going to be perfect world, so Dota 2 is going to be lagging anyway, so we may have to stick with the Chinese stream.
Mirana.
But
I think if Newbee Young hadn't first picked the Invoker, then Vici probably would have taken it, because Super likes playing that hero a lot. In fact, they have multiple Invoker players. Obviously, SSS used to play a very, very strong Invoker back in the day as well.
Yep.
In Newbee Young, this team... So some of these understudy teams, but particularly Newbee Young, I feel like they just play super duper standard. Like, they don't have that many pocket picks. They just play what the meta is, and they play it pretty well. But they don't try to cultivate like wacky picks, because I think a lot of the time the understudy teams are usually the primary scrimming partner of the big brother team, basically. So in Newbee Young's case, they're going to be scrimming with Newbee, and Newbee probably wants to scrim against the meta, right? Not against, whatever garbage they want to pull out. So I find that a lot of these teams just play super normal heroes, and I think you see that with Newbee Young.
And I feel like Newbee Young came up because they had strong individual players, but they didn't have any great captains, so very much they were just drafting and playing to the meta. Like, they were picking standard mid SF type heroes, stacking a bunch, and just doing like tempo controlling safe lane carries. Like, it was never anything special from them. But
yeah. The one thing I'm a little concerned about for Newbee Young is when I saw them in previous... I think they've made a roster swap. They're what I thought was one of their better players, which was LE. I think he was 4 position, one of the 2 supports.
Yep.
He has been uplifted to Newbee Prime, and now they have 3-2-1, who I haven't seen that much of. I saw a couple CDEC games with him, and they were like, but I don't know. So it's just something to watch out for, because he's a little newer to the team. I don't think he's actually played any officials with them, because they did the qualifiers for this tournament with LE.
Okay, so this could be one of the first big games for him. I feel like one thing with Newbee Young is they've actually almost overtaken their big brother team in some ways, at least as of late. It's kind of hard to say, they're doing better than a team with like Hao and Moo in it and all that, but at least qualifying for this event, as well as just in general other results, have been pretty decent for Newbee Young. They've surpassed expectations, whereas Newbee Classic has kind of done the opposite.
Yeah, so Newbee Classic has definitely not surpassed expectations. Yeah, I agree. They're definitely, younger players, newer players are always, they're definitely a little bit hungrier, and Newbee for the last 2 years has been the story of a team that is about as not hungry as you can possibly imagine. So
I love these on the Chinese stream. You get the PG versions of some of the hero icons. The Ancient Apparition has a mouth. The Doom has a slightly different mouth as well.
Oh, yeah, the low violence.
Yeah, the low violence models. I don't get how giving AA a mouth makes him less violent, but...
it's because he looks bony. Like, if it looks like a skeleton in any way, then they have to censor it. And both Doom and AA have skeleton-like mouths, I think.
Okay. Huh. It's curious.
It's pretty curious, yeah.
Well, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, really standard drafts here. Like, except for the Marana early is pretty unusual.
Even the DK early. I remember when I saw the change to the Dragon Blood, I was just like, this seems ridiculous. Like how much HP regen you get. So like when you want to try push towers around that level 9, level 10 mark, like you're just going to be, you take damage, you'll be healed up in no time at all. So.
Yeah. I think DK was already on the rise. He was. I think he was already pretty freaking good towards the very tail end of 8.5, and getting a buff makes him, he's really potent. He's super hard to push out of lane. He's got good teamfight utility. He returns farm pretty well, honestly. Like, remember that Fada game where he was like 40k net worth Dragon Knight? That was really funny.
And I don't even feel like he falls off that much because of the 9-second Dragon Tail cooldown in late game. Like, you're a late game carry who has a 9-second cooldown insta-stun that stuns for like 3.25 seconds or something ridiculous.
And the range with Ether Lens is amazing.
No, please, Vic. If you're going to be on here and just talk about Ether Lens all day, that's it. I've had enough.
All right. I'll leave it alone until someone builds it.
Until Bane, that's an Ether Lens hero.
Yes.
Bane is legit Ether Lens buyer.
It's actually really gross because he can do things like nightmare you from outside your vision range, especially at night. It's not a fun time.
I feel like it's actually core item for Bane right now, but there's a few heroes it's just amazing on. Zeus, another one.
You would want blue boots on this guy anyway, and now you can make a lens from it. Yeah.
Yep. So Juggernaut gets picked up as the 4th pick for Newbee Young. So there's your safe lane farm. It will be a off-lane Tusk, it looks like, and just looking for their last pick support. And kind of as you mentioned, mostly standard stuff coming out from the two teams. Just Vici, a bit of a different direction with their opening to Dragon Knight Marana.
This is basically a Sigma 2013 draft.
From Vici?
Right?
Potom Bane, DK.
Bane, DK, yeah.
We just need DK to go mech first, and then it's Sigma all over again.
Alright, we probably won't do that, but yeah, it's still pretty damn close.
Maybe throw in a remake after the picks, and then it's Sigma.
Well, that's a deep cut.
Look, it's been long enough. You can make those kind of shots now. If this was a year ago, I'd be like, I don't want to say something like that. But
right, it was too soon, but now it's no longer too soon.
No, we're good. So, last couple picks here. I can only imagine it's going to be a FY Marana. I don't think the hero fits into the offlane role at all, but I could be wrong about that.
For the Marana, you mean?
Yeah.
What do they have, a jug? I don't know if they'll do Marana offlane. I feel like this is sort of I know a lot of people were talking in the last couple of tournaments about like why Vici was sort of moving away from their hyper roam support style, and this looks like a hyper roam composition to me. Bane Potom, destroy the mid lane, make the Invoker's life really bad against the Dragon Knight, then go to the off lane, try to get some abuse on the Darks here. I wouldn't sacrifice that just for an off lane Marana.
Here we go. Here's some 6.86. We get Faceless Void.
Okay.
Now we're talking. Yeah. This to me is an offlaner. With the changes especially, definitely. I don't think you can play him as a carry. He's meant to be played as that utility teamfight hero.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You think you make Blink on this guy? I've been hearing about Blink on him.
Okay. Yeah, well, with the shorter distance on the Time Walker, it probably is necessary. So Void coming out. And last pick Rubik for Newbee Young. No surprises there. Just needed that standard safe lane support. And you talked about this team being pretty cookie cutter. Well, they're going to do just that with their draft.
Void could actually be great here. This hero really messes with Invoker. He can, if you lock down the Invoke cooldown. Honestly, the new ability Time Lock, or is it called Time Lock? Whatever it's called.
Did it change its name?
Well, it's the slot that used to be Backtrack. And
so it's not actually Time Walk. Okay. Well, yeah. The new. Okay.
Yeah. What is it called? It's not called Time Lock. I
don't actually know. Well, I can check once it gets picked in game, and I can hover over the icon. But we're not there yet.
If people aren't super familiar with what it does, it basically slows based on the number of spells that it locks down, but it also locks down the cooldown of spells that were recently cast by that hero. So against an Invoker, if he invokes a spell and you use the ability on him, he's not going to be able to invoke for the invoke cooldown plus a number of seconds based on the ranks of your skill, that can blow a fight wide open, because there's no counter to it per se. Like, I mean, refresher, I guess.
Alright guys, on the stream, we're going to cut away from the Chinese stream. Once this draft ends, you'll catch up. We'll see the Void get picked again.
Time dilation, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's his new skill. Okay. No. Oh, yeah, time dilation. Yeah, you're right. So time dilation, time walk, time lock. Why isn't it called time sphere? This is my immersion. Come on, Valve.
Or they could just change everything to chrono.
Chrono walk, chrono dilation, chrono lock. Eh.
I'm not feeling chrono dilation.
I'm not feeling chrono. No, it sounds too forced.
Yeah.
But
I mean, time sphere also sounds.
Yeah, time sphere. I feel like you'd come up with something better for the ultimate, maybe, but maybe it's the ultimate. It's meant to be something different and special.
So the cool thing about Void in the offlane is that because of his mini time lapse effect on his blink, he can just time walk away from any sort of burst damage you deal, and so it's actually really, really hard to push him out of the lane if he manages his positioning properly. And that, I think, is why, if this goes well, I think you would definitely see ISSS playing a lot more of this patch and other offlaners.
Right, well, here we go. Draft is complete. Hope you guys are ready. We'll hop ourselves into the game just soon. The Christmas coverage of the Perfect World Rad&Dire Cup begins now. Uh-oh, let me see. I need my free camera. There we go. So, unfortunately, we did not make it into the lobby for this game. They remade. We didn't realize it was being remade, and then they started without us. Sad times, but we're here. We're in Dota TV, and hopefully Perfect World is friendly with us today. So.
Oh, I like your scarf. So you flipped over to Dota TV, right? We're not going off this.
Yeah, we're in Dota TV now. I should actually chose. I can use the Chinese stream on the right, so I don't miss any kills. Maybe this could be the best camera work ever. I was about to say I'll close it so I don't spoil myself. And I was like, wait a second.
That's sneaky. That's real sneaky.
I'll just never miss a kill. It'll be beautiful. No, I might actually close it for now. Otherwise, I will spoil myself. If I can figure out how to close. Actually, I don't know how to close this thing. We'll just pretend it's not there. So, drafts lanes, I don't think we'll see anything too crazy. It looks like ice will go to the off lane on the Void. FY roam the Mirana. And Bay Mirana, classic kind of roaming duo. So we'll see what they can get done as far as probably shutting down the Invoker. The Invoker is like the big problem here when I look at this draft.
Absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, they'll probably do quite a bit of roaming. On Newbee Young side, it looks like they're also going to go with pretty standard lanes. Lee, whose current name is Little Sad Face, is going to be on the offlane Darkseer. SC is going to be mid on Invoker. And it looks like they're just going to play a safe tri-lane with Jaja on the Jug, and then supported by the Rubik and the Tusk. The Tusk is probably going to roam around too. Try to counter gank a little bit, things like that.
Oh, this is some old school Ice shenanigans. Looking for the creep skip from behind, although it seems like he decides against it at the last minute. And a level 1 smoke, Vici Gaming. It's the roaming duo of Fenrir and FY coming back.
Yep. Pretty early for a smoke, but they could definitely get some kills off of this.
It is Iron Shell level 1 for Darkseer as well, so if he doesn't get level 2 off of this creep wave, he could be in some trouble here. I say that. Perfect World, don't lag on me now. Oh, he got level 2 from the creep wave. It died to the Iron Shell, though. He gets Arrow Road burning, Rocket Barrage being split between creeps. I don't even know what's going on. Perfect World, please don't lag. Please don't lag. Right click, right click. Can they get the Darkseer? It does look like they may get him now. Salving on up, and that salve not being cancelled. He's actually going to survive for now. Another surge in a couple of seconds, and okay. Y does a ton of damage to the Vici Gaming supports, and in the end almost escapes.
Yeah, that was a very prayer arrow from FY doesn't land either. That's actually a lot of resources committed to that by Vici for an unsuccessful gank.
I mean, we're just a bit late to the lane. He got level 2 just while Nightmare. Like, the creeps just kept dying to the Iron Shell.
Yeah, if he hadn't hit 2 there, he for sure... Oh, interesting pull over here, by the way, from the Tusk, pulling the Radiant mid creeps into the Ancients. This is supposed to be the offlane.
I had someone telling me about this being possible, and I'm thinking, well, obviously this is probably something that may get patched, and probably is a little bit broken. Meanwhile, mid lane, Super getting ganked, Cold Snap with an Ice Shards. Could see a First Blood here. No Invoke available. Super goes down. First Blood to Invoker. Man, what? This Tusk, stronger than ever. If you can do Radiant mid pulls on Ancients, Tusk has received a huge buff.
That's really brutal, because yeah, you can just level there off the Ancients, and then it gives you such amazing positioning to gank middle. This Tusk could be a really key hero here, because he can also snowball people that have been arrowed.
Yep. Okay. We'll see Tusk Nightmare up at the top rune, though. Gets arrowed as well to follow Fenrir. And FY looking for a counter kill here for Vici Gaming. See if they can find it here. They're going to chase him on up. We're going to have to reconnect after this one. This lag is going to be a bit too much. It looks like FY will get the kill. Did not get the Ice Shards block onto both the two heroes. Super
but Super is taking a ton of damage in the mid again.
Yeah, he is not having a fun time. Went for the Quelling Blade plus Stout Shield. Normally I'd say you go for like a Bottle Rush rather than this kind of a build.
Yeah, definitely. I think in this lane, he was probably expecting to do a lot better. The Tusk, it seemed like the Tusk mid-abuse caught him by surprise.
Alright, we're going to quickly reconnect and see if that fixes anything here, though. Sorry about that, guys. Fortunately, Perfect World sometimes not so perfect. If it gets too bad, I may switch over the Chinese stream, so we may have to take that approach.
Looks like ISS might try to snipe the courier with Pastry. Ah, no, he's not going to do it. It was close, though.
Okay, so things still looking a bit shaky, but hopefully for future games. I don't know if getting in the lobby actually means that we get less lag or not, but we could have
That's actually pretty tough to say, yeah.
A very long weekend ahead of us if we get Perfect World lag. Snowball in top, they've gone in on Burning. Gets back to the safety of his tower with a Nightmare there. Can he get the salve up? Will do so, and the Iron Shell not going to cancel that one just yet. The Iron Shards now comes in, but MMR on the Tusk will feed away a kill to Burning, and Burning gets out of range of the Darkseer. Burning with another Rocket Barrage available. May go for a second kill here with a Nightmare. Not looking good for the Darkseer. This could be 2 kills going Vici Gaming's way. Newbee Young getting too aggressive up top.
Yeah, that was just a hyper-aggressive play. They really wanted Burning, but I don't know if you can really do that against the bottom Danes.
Yep. Alright, well. Not the start they were hoping for. 4-minute rune coming up, and it looks like the fight's going to be at bottom lane as Ice will get beat to it by a telekinesis. He still wins this right-click battle, perhaps. At least that's what he's trying to prove here. Has the... Oh, no, he doesn't have any points in the time dilation, but has the time walk to get away and also backtrack some of that damage that he's taken.
Yeah, I think... So far, it actually, even with those deaths, I don't think it's that critical of a situation for Newbee Young, just because their Invoker is probably doing a lot better than they thought from just than you might expect from the draft alone.
Yeah.
As long as Invoker does very well, and Juggernaut's off to a roaring start as well, because the Void isn't really able to do anything against him, so...
Yeah, Void in the offlane is kind of like a do-nothing kind of offlane. It reminds me a lot of like an Earthshaker, where it's just trying to get your levels there and then use your levels to help your team out a bit.
Yeah, he's not super likely to just die against the Jug, at least not yet, but he's also not going to get much done.
Okay, well, we'll see how things progress here. Looking for another kill up top onto the Darkseer. He does have Tango Zone, he will loop himself around. Nice little path helping him out there.
Yeah, I think for Vici, it's pretty important that some of these Bane and Mirana rotations actually pay off, because in the mid-game, before Gyro really becomes super beastly later on, so Gyro got tagged a little bit. He's still super strong, but his sort of like early mid-game, extremely strong period has been tampered down a bit, and he's become more of like a scaler. So
wasn't it? It was just the level 1 cooldown, like the first missile does less damage.
Yep, exactly. So it's like just that guaranteed triple kill at level 6 that he used to have is no longer as much of a thing. Oh, yep. Ice
Oh, there we go. That time walk, healing himself back up, and he gets away.
That heals great.
Yeah, that's... You don't kill him in that kind of... That burst damage while he's stunned, he will just negate most of the damage.
You either need... It's very interesting with him. You either need so much burst that he doesn't have enough time to use the time walk, or you need damage over time so that it doesn't really matter when he uses it.
Yep. Also a Ghost Walk in the mid lane, so they don't get a kill on Invoker, but 200 mana is a big cost for your laning stage as an Invoker. It means you may not have that Tornado EMP that you want to use.
Right.
So for now we'll stick with the Dota TV and hope things don't get too bad. But yeah, so Void getting levels, we'll be hitting level 6 fairly soon. Possibly see like a Void and Gyrocopter team up, maybe with a cooldown Chronosphere. Even the cooldown into Arrow, they've got a lot of spells they can kind of dump into that Chronosphere here.
I think Vici is... Right now they have a little bit of pressure because the Dragon Knight can sort of push, and Newbee Young doesn't really have any pushing presence. The Darkseer hasn't gotten that much. He's done fine, considering there's been a ton of attention on him. But he's also, you know, he's obviously not going to contribute that much to teamfights just yet. So Vici has pretty good positioning to try to push towers. But they probably need a pick or two as well.
Alright, FY lurking around this top lane, and Duck's going to be a little bit careful of this. Cooldown gets thrown. That looks like it's just a farm though. Burning. Farming cooldowns. That's a Burning play if I've ever seen one.
It is, but I think it's the right attitude to take with Gyro right now.
Yeah, you can't... That's one of the nice things about having Jug in the safe lane is the first... Like, the Gyro TP rotations normally go towards the off lane, but when it's a Juggernaut, he can block all of the damage output, unless you call down with the Chronosphere, perhaps. And even then, it's very tricky to kind of manage, so... as a result, there's not many easy-to-gank heroes on the map. Even the mid lane, Invoker's got Tornado, he's got Ghost Walk, there's a lot of escape potential, and Invoker actually sitting on 1k HP. He's gone for a very tanky build here early on.
Yeah, and not to mention, too, he has the Fairy Fires to give some quick health restoration as well. So yeah, he's... I think that's absolutely the right attitude to take. I think SC's played this almost exactly properly. He knows that there would be a lot of danger from the Mirana Bane, so he's mitigating against that. And as a result, he hasn't died, he has a kill, he got the first blood. It's great for the Invoker, I think. Yep.
Alright, well, Vici Gaming secure themselves a bottom rune, but it's an Invis rune going the way of the Tusk, who is going to swing himself towards the top lane. Gyrocopter, unlike the Jug, is a very gankable hero. But right now, Tusk is up there alone. Yeah.
Tusk, yeah.
That's right, Darkseid TP's back in, you know.
Yeah, it could happen.
Rubik for now sitting around this mid lane, though, worried about a jump onto the Invoker.
Yeah, I'm also going to be watching how Fenrir plays this game.
Jug going to be the one TPing top. It looks like Burning going into the side shot could be in some trouble here. Secondary TP comes from the Darkseid. They get the initial eye shots, the Snowball. There to, well, not really dodge any of the damage, but does help secure the kill onto Burning.
Yeah, they definitely needed Jug to be able to pull off that gank, so that's a very good use of his Omni Slash, because he's not going to use it in his own lane. It won't kill the Faceless Void, it'll just be a waste of a cooldown, so moving over to the Gyro was, I think that's great. With the Jugger cart, they might even be able to at least put a little bit of pressure on this tower here.
Here come Vici in the mid lane, though. They've got a smoked up Bane and Mirana. Rubik sitting behind, but Rubik not exactly the best counter initiator. They lead onto the Dragon Knight, though. Super, fairly tanky. Does have wand charges as well. He heals himself back up with a wand. Has a Breathe Fire. Will secure the kill on SCC. And now here comes Jeremy. Locks Rubik in place with the Chronosphere. And Ice 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 helps his team secure 2 kills in the mid lane and possibly a tier 1 tower with the Dragon form up.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think that's fantastic for Vici. They really want to get a gold lead here by taking a couple towers with the Dragon forms. And that's... I think that little fight that Newbee Young probably just shouldn't have taken, but now that they did, it definitely arrests the progress of the Invoker pretty substantially.
They do get the tier 1 top tower, and it is Gyrocopter even TPing into the lane as well, so I feel it's still like an okay position to be in for Newbee Young as far as their Jugs farm. But yeah, Invoker here, if anything, you'd rather like Jug die once rather than your Invoker. Invoker very much you want him to snowball.
You also don't want to lose Invoker's tier 1 mid here. It pinches his map control quite a bit, whereas all they took for Vici was the tier 1 safe Dire, which it's not like they're going to be really doing that much jungle invasions at this point anyway, so it's not hugely impactful at this stage of the game.
Alrighty, so Newbee Young probably pretty happy with how things have started off here. Darkseid getting good farm and levels as far as, at least compared to the Void. Will have a pretty good time on his mech. He's just 200 gold away from it. Lane is fairly pushed up, but he can always head towards some of these jungle camps.
Yeah, although Faceless Void has actually done pretty well for himself too. He got all that time when the Juggernaut left to go to top to kill the Gyro and get the tier 1 tower. That traded ISS like 25 last hits, and then he ended up participating in a kill on a tower as well.
No, so... Yeah, if you looked at, like, talked about 11 minutes in, a Darkseid should have a decent amount of net worth over a Faceless Void.
Right. And he has more, but it's not minutes.
Top lane, Fenrir, being ganked up, the Tornado with a Snowball. Gonna secure the kill there. Arrow, not gonna amount to too much. As Newbee Young find a single pick-off on the support. They did commit 4 heroes for it, though, so not really the best rotation, but yeah, they'd love to find follow-up kills. They pop a smoke, head towards the mid lane, and we'll see what they have in mind. Jug himself...
It'll be pretty tough to get a kill here, now that because the lack of presence of the tower means that Super has no reason to stick around after clearing the wave.
Jug decided to bail on the bottom lane, knowing it was a bit of a death trap. Could lead into Burning, pushing down this tower now, though. Gonna have to be somewhat wary of.
Yeah, I'm really curious a lot of things about this Void. What's he... Okay, so it looks like he's gonna go Headdress. Oh, he's actually in a bit of trouble.
Void, yeah, I was about to say, doesn't he be careful? He gets thrown up in the air, the Tornado there. Now he goes for the Time Walk out. Chronosphere, can he get off? He can! 1 to 3, make it 4! Cooldown, Rocket Barrage, the cleanup is here. Vici Gaming demolished Newbee Young. That Juggernaut rotation has an Omni Slash, will get it off, but the damage gets split between 3. Just a Void casualty, and possibly going to be 3, maybe 4 kills going the way of Vici Gaming. Arrow gets thrown out, that's not going to land, but the Dragon Tail does, and it's a 4-for-1 trade. That aggression, Ice is just like, I'm just going to creep skip miles away from my team because I've got this skill called Time Walk that heals me up.
Having a mini Weaver ultimate on a 6-second cooldown which only costs 40 mana, I mean, wow. He completely turned that fight around. And if you can't kill the Void in those like seconds that you have before he blinks out, you've just wasted all that mana, all those cooldowns that you spent on him. And he was just able to turn it around. That's actually very, 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 very bad for Newbee. Not only do they lose 4, but that means the Void is actually pretty close to finishing Vladimir's offering. And then that, combined with the DK's natural tankiness and ability to clear towers, is going to mean Vici's going to have a really, really formidable pushing power.
It's also just a great farming item. I think it's something Winter's talked about, like why he really likes the offlane Night Stalkers going for an early Vlads. It's just because you can always jungle. Like, you can farm Ancients with it by yourself as an offlaner with just Treads and Vlads. So it's
great.
A really nice item to have so that your farm doesn't fall off going to the late game.
Right.
It allows you to fight, and it also gives you that farming capability that an item like a Midas gives you. So
totally. And it's a great balance for the new Void compared to like the old way of doing it with Mask of Madness, where you're just relying on your physical DPS a lot less, and you want to give a little more to your team as an offlaner. So Vlad's over Mom or over Helm of Dom, I think, is a great choice here.
If anything, it feels like you want to build the Void more utility and tanky rather than like a glass. You don't want to be a glass cannon with the way the Time Warp warps. You want to be able to survive the burst damage and the chain disables.
HP and armor to an extent you never cared about at all on Void before.
Yep. Alright, see where he looks to go now. He is Chronosphere back up soon, and that Vlad's almost complete. Gyro will be scattered out by the Invoker here. It looks like these two are going to duke it out a bit, but here comes the Void. Chronosphere at the ready, throws it with a cooldown, and the Rocket Barrage in range. Burning, getting the flax off SCC. Will survive for now thanks to the Darkseer mech, but doesn't look like he'll outlast Ice. Burning, getting low, the earn damage ticking little bit by little bit. Burning goes down, it looks like a vacuum securing the kill, and Ice will get himself out of there. Elsewhere, Rubik in the mid lane goes down. Gia could be in some trouble as well. Super searching, hits the Breathe Fire, needs another right click or two. Will not get it though. Bit of a misplay there, perhaps, not getting the stun off. He got juked by the trees though.
He got juked really hard by the trees. Like, if you saw him blink forward, he blinked, but the Jug was still out of line of sight because he blinked to like here and the Jug was here. Oh, well, you can't see that because we're not in the lobby together.
Drawing on the map. Oh, yeah. Wonderful stuff. But yeah, he should have chased further to see where the Jug, I guess, juked him. And then gone for the blink once he knew exactly where Jug was. But not the end of the world. It could have been a pretty important kill considering Jug is going for a Battle Fury, but we'll see.
I like the blink here for Dragon Knight, though. I think that's a good call for his build. And he has a ton of money on top of it. He's getting basically 15% free damage from the fact that the Void made of Vlad's, so he has damage to spare, and making the blink gives him great maneuverability. It lets him initiate. Like, he can start a fight, and then Void and Gyro can follow up, or Bane can start a fight and he can follow up. I like the blink quite a bit.
Arcane Boots complete on FY, and there's the Vlads you talked about, picked up by Ice. So across the board, most of the key items picked up for Vici Gaming for their early game.
Yeah, I'm pretty scared for Newbee. The Jug is going for scaling, and I don't necessarily disagree, but it does mean that they're vulnerable in a period where if the game was going better, they'd actually be very strong. Yep. Let's see how this smoke gank goes.
They're looping around towards this middle lane. Tusk is going to be probably the kind of key initiator for the team. In enemy jungle we go. Oh, can they get the Void? We've seen this one before backfire. This time he does not have Chronosphere, but it looks like they decide against going for Void. They've been burned before, they don't want to be burned again.
They didn't even try.
Until they get, I guess they're just like, until we get Orchid, we just can't deal with this Void. They haven't got the chains done, perhaps.
Yeah. It's pretty hard for them to kill him. They don't have much burst on their team at all.
Snowball plus Walrus Punches, I mean, it disables there, I guess, but yeah, the burst damage is lacking.
I mean, they have to burn Omni Slash, and they don't want to really do that. And it's only a level 1 Omni Slash, though. He's only level 10, Jug.
Yeah, I think that's the key point. Like, an Omni Slash for the offlane Void, who might just... If you're in the enemy jungle, it means he could buy back and then, like, trap you when you're in jungle. Like, you suddenly find yourself in a terrible position.
And since Jug is going Battle Fury too, it's very important that this Jug gets acres of space, and it's difficult for them to do that because they lost the 2 tier 1 towers that cover their jungle area. Plus Vici has a pretty aggressive ward here. It's not too bad, but they're definitely feeling a little pinch as far as map control goes.
Alrighty, well, for now, Newbee Young not getting too much out of the map. Vici, meanwhile, stacking Ancients, farming it with Burning for the most part. And working on Dragonite, what looks to be a BKB. I guess it's a pretty good BKB game.
Tank. Yeah, he's going to be really, really beastly for that. I think Newbee Young is going to want to keep the game going pretty slow until the Invoker's Orchid is done. I can't see how they win fights without that.
Alright, Vici's turn to smoke. Let's see if they can do something better than what Newbee Young got done with theirs. Okay, there we go. Blink Dragontail in the mid lane. SCC the first to get caught. Snowball is there. Arrow. I don't know if that hit or what. There we go. Chronosphere comes out. This team fight in PowerPoint presentation form is Newbee Young, lose Invoker, lose Tusk, and possibly lose more. The Vacuum Wall onto Vici Gaming's there, but we'll just see what happens in this fight. I can't even keep track of what's happening anymore. GoDz still has an Omni-Size, but it's still just level 1, so not even sure if he can get any kills off of this. He's searching for Ice, but doesn't look like he's going to find him. And Vici Gaming, with the Blink Dragonite at this stage, if you get 1 or 2 kills and start winning the fight, you're just going to chase and get kill after kill after kill, and they get 4 out of it. 5 kills to 15.
This is such a hard game to beat Juggernaut in. You've got Void, who shrugs off almost all your damage. You've got Dragon Knight, who is almost totally impervious to you unless you substantially outfarm him. And then Bane is a nightmare for Jug because he can't turn off the Enfeeble. Once Bane gets Enfeeble, he can't turn it off with Blade Fury. Obviously, Bane can Fiend's Grip him even if he's Blade Furying. This is just a tough Jug game, and he hasn't been able to make too much of it.
Alright, hopefully that reconnect will help fix some of these lag issues now. Well, Vici Gaming will be pretty happy with this start of theirs. It is a 8,000 gold lead. All 3 of their cores farming well. Support's getting the job done as well. The return of the FY Mirana so far pretty successful. Okay, I'm still not seeing spells. That arrow is completely invisible.
He hit SC from like, I mean, it was a very, very long range arrow. Not the kind of thing they're going to make anything of. Bane, by the way, has begun. He's about 1,500 off of that Aether Lens. That's a huge item for him.
Yep. Yeah, so should be good stuff coming out from the Bane as SCC rotates in, and Newbee Young just feels like they can't. They're grouping up, but they haven't really got the items to group up with. Like Jug going for the Battle Fury build, Invoker still not completed an Orchid. It doesn't really feel like the right time to be grouped up. But at the same time, if they split apart, Vici Gaming will find pickoffs. They've got such a good lineup for punishing heroes that are kind of caught by themselves.
Yeah, I think it's less of a we need to team fight grouping up and a we're not safe if we don't group up. Let's guarantee farm on our 2 cores and just keep everybody next to them in case they try to get ganked or something. I don't know that they have that many alternatives to that, honestly.
Mid lane, Rubik looks like he's going to be caught out here. Mirana and DK teaming up, and I think this Observer Ward, helping give some of the vision that was needed to get that pick off. Arrows go flying, fishing for kills, and not going to find all too much. And into Roshan goes Vici Gaming.
This is smart. I mean, with this they're able to, I think, start going high ground because I don't know if I commented on it, but Void finishes his deck, and that gives them amazing initiation potential.
Yeah.
They can just blink the Void up, kill 2 or 3 people, and then take the high ground behind that.
It's so hard to play against until you get like a Orchid on the Invoker perhaps, but even then, if you're not like instant with the Orchid when he blinks on you, he's getting off a Chronosphere, and more often than not you won't be able to silence him before that Chronosphere comes out.
Yeah, the thing is, once he has the blink, if he didn't have the blink, I'd say sure, but it's going to be really hard to see the Void coming, and you'd have to like shift Q the Orchid and hope that you catch him before he can Chrono. It's possible, but you know, it's tough.
Alright, well, for Newbee Young, time to farm. Time to avoid Vici Gaming at all costs, it feels like. Unlikely to see them get too much done while there's an Aegis on the Dire side. Possibly if someone splits up away from the rest of the team, they could try and go for the pickoffs, but... And Newbee Young are going to get out-farmed at this stage of the game. You've got a Helm of the Dominator Burning, he can stack Ancients. You've got an off-lane Void with Vlad who can farm. Dragonite in a pretty good position as well to just go up pushing lanes by himself. He's got the BKB for protection, so...
Yeah. I think they understand that the net worth lead is going to only expand, but they can't really. There's not really something that they can do right now to counteract that hard. What they're hoping for is that the Jugs farm starts speeding up as soon as you finish the Battle Fury, and then in the long term, that's really your hope, that the Jug gets big enough that he can contest both the Gyro and the DK, and that the Invoker can sort of take care of the Void and clear out everybody else.
Yep. And if ISIS wants to be safe, you could even go for something like a BKB as his next item against this draft, especially to deal with the Orchid. We'll see. I feel like it kind of limits his damage output, and he's probably thinking, like, I'm in such a good position. He's more farm than anyone on Newbee's side.
Right. He could do Manta also. I think I'd go Manta over BKB.
No, I was thinking just that as well. I feel like the Manta works really nicely. It's like a fighting item as well as an option to get out of the Orchid.
Yeah, and move speed's good on him too, so it's just everything for the Manta is useful. And the thing about Void too is he's actually not that mana intensive these days, just because Time Dilation and Time Walk are so cheap.
I mean, that's a problem he always had in the past a bit. I guess you still can't go for that Refresher Chronosphere build that used to be the Ultimate Void build.
Yeah, I remember that. Those were very toxic days of Dota.
Oh, I just killed 2 people in the Chronosphere. Oh wait, my Chronosphere's back up.
Jeez.
And you can get those kills with a Refresher, was the ridiculous thing. Here we go, top lane. Oh, TP gets cancelled. SCC needs a grip. Oh, Fenrir not there in time. And no detection as well, so it looks like Invoker will get away.
That's the funny thing. Void, like, with this build, the new Void does no damage. Like, he's probably remembering how Void used to be able to always kill somebody in that situation, but you really are not going to be killing anybody.
The other cool thing about the Blink Dagger is it does speed up your farm, like jumping from camp to camp and moving around the map a lot quicker.
He really needed, I think, because the Blink, his actual Blink, Time Walk is so short range. I think the Blink Dagger is pretty core if you're going to play offlane.
It seems to be like the right build to go for with this offlane Void, just the Treads, Vlad's, Blink Dagger type play.
Yeah.
I like the sustain and the farm that the Vlad's gives you. I don't know if there's other... I guess you could go for a Midas instead, possibly. Like a Midas Blink type build. That was maybe something you'd see in the past for offlane Voids, but...
Fast fingers from SSS there. He blinked after the Orchid, but before any damage came in, so that was otherwise going to be a definite death.
Arrow... Whoop. Goes through the Darkseid's body with some perfect world lag. At least according to my screen, it went through his body. But apparently didn't hit. Jug now, Ancient Stacks, so it's getting some farm.
Battle Fury with Ancient Stacks, definitely one of the ways that they have to get back in. My issue is that I think the Invoker still needs BKB on top of this, and, you know, more items.
Oh, FY. Getting caught here by an Omni Slash, and we'll go down. Rubik gets and secures the kill for Newbee Young.
It's a nice kill, but not of tremendous consequence. I don't think they can take a tower off of it or anything. It just clears up their map a little bit.
Yeah, it seems to have revealed to Vici where exactly a ward was, which they immediately take out, so...
Yep.
Vici Gaming clear out some wards and... Well, it'll not be easy for them to end this game push high ground, though. They are pushing into a Blink Darkseer. Invoker as well, a great high ground defender, so all in all, this could be a game that drags out for a bit as Vici Gaming extend their lead from like a 8k gold lead to a 10 to 15k gold lead, assuming everything goes according to the plan, which Newbee Young obviously...
With the sieges, they should be able to at least take the outer towers. I think all 3 outer towers are danger.
I agree with that. But it feels like Burning is going to need to complete the MKB with a Butterfly, with even maybe a BK... probably a BKB and then maybe a Butterfly before they can even end the game. The AC from DK maybe going to be needed as well.
Yeah, maybe. I think they'll definitely finish the AC on DK. My one caveat to that would be, depending on Chronosphere, that could just end the game, like right there.
That's true.
That's the thing. They have that. It's not just a pushing lineup; it also has that big team fight potential.
Yeah, all it takes is one lost fight for Newbee, and suddenly they've lost Selena Rex.
Right.
Alright, well. Tier 1 tower goes to Invoker in bottom lane. You mentioned BKB. He's up to 2.2k gold, so could consider some of these items fairly soon.
And we'll see. He probably also wants... The thing is, he also wants Scythe. He also wants a lot of other stuff. It's going to be a greedy game for both him and Jug if they want to win.
Tempted kill coming out from Tusk on the Mirana again. Seems to be some of the easier picking to have around the map, but not going to find it just now.
Yeah, Bane is also pretty close. I don't think Lens will totally change the game, but it does give them greater initiation range. Especially at night, playing against a Lens Bane is very
Balanced.
Yeah,
one might
balance.
say.
That's the word.
Winter Rage reckons the items stir up in balance, so I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. I think it is somewhat hero dependent.
The lens?
Yeah.
I think lens is incredibly broken.
Yeah. I've heard people compare it to like the old Glimmer Cape. Not quite to the same level as the old Glimmer Cape, but
it's
still something.
The difference is that you can't build it on every single hero.
Yeah.
Whereas Glimmer you could, but it's in the power range on the heroes you build it on for sure. I think.
Avoid farming away in the jungle. He needs to be careful. What's he going for? So Manta Star recipe. There we go. Will be a Mantis. Picked up the Yasha. Almost has the full Manta as well. Just about 1,000 gold short.
Pretty freaking big, honestly. This Void, like that's scary.
And with the game progressing as slowly as it is, he's pretty much just saying, "Look, I want to make sure I have some light game here. Yasha, good farming item, and we'll just help him scale a lot better."
Yeah, the problem for Newbee is you look at your lineup and the enemy lineup, and you're like, well, we need all these items on Invoker and Jug, so we're gonna be effective at around probably not earlier than 38, maybe like 42. But then you look at the other team and you're like, oh crap, like then there's gonna be a really big void. Gyro's gonna have like 4 items, so can we even win at that point? It's tough. I think that if all had gone according to plan, they would have had a huge advantage from like 10 to 20 minutes. But they messed up a couple of fights pretty badly and lost map control, and that set them into a position where it's actually extremely difficult for them to win.
Yep. Alright, here we go. Items coming up. Bane with the Aether Lens. See DK with the Assault Caress and the smoke coming out from Vici Gaming. Looking to go on the move.
Knight too.
Raid the enemy jungle. Gia does have a Blink Dagger. This is a nice item to possibly avoid this gank. He's going to be heading towards a ward, which could spell his demise. Needs to be a bit careful here. He's hiding in the trees, so possibly suspecting something is up, and the ward will scout out Rubik instead. Oh, my poor Rubik. Caught out by the Dragon Tail. The arrow now going to follow him up, and that's going to be an easy free pick, but not the most important pick off to be getting.
Yeah, probably not the one they wanted.
ISIS could be in trouble too. There's 3 heroes by him. Do they go for this? First time what comes out, there's a snowball. Walrus Punch to follow, throws him up in the air. He's going to get Omni Slash as well. The Chronosphere. Used a bit too late, perhaps. And they get the kill.
Yeah, that was good stun chaining there for sure from Newbee Young. That's a big kill, actually. That was a high net worth target.
Yep. Absolutely. Much better than killing a Rubik.
Yeah, actually, a great trade considering Vici spent a smoke. Vici's vision is just not super amazing. Like before they got the Moogle ward up here, it was pretty bad actually.
Yeah.
Now
and they only just put that bottom lane ward. They had no vision
game,
whatsoever before those 2 wards got planted.
I think this one was up still, but it was tailing off and not an amazing position.
Okay.
Oh, when I say this one, sorry.
Don't exactly know which one you mean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like the one outside the Radiant Tier 2 that they had earlier. They had that one still.
At the top lane, you mean?
No, in the Radiant Tier 2.
Radiant Tier 2 doesn't... There's like 3 Radiant Tier 2s. Oh, you mean the one, the bottom, the only Tier 2 standing right now. Okay, yeah.
Right.
I see what you mean. I was like, huh? Radiant Tier 2? One of 3 different places? That just... When you say a ward near a Radiant Tier 2, that describes like 15 different ward spots.
That doesn't do discuss much.
The struggle's real. We need like a grid, like C4 on the mini map, you know?
Oh, yeah, chess style position. So burning is MKB done and almost. I think BKB for sure for burning next.
Yeah.
Once they get BKB and the second Aegis, probably also on burning, I think Vici has very, very strong high ground potential, and Newbee will be pretty tasked to do anything about that.
Yeah, I think I agree a lot with that. FY, oh, he's building the new Atos. Double 4 staff. Double staff of Wizardry, sorry. It's a new pickup for him.
If they have good vision, this gives them even more great initiation potential, because it's such a long range on that item.
Can they get a catcher at the top lane? We'll be looking for a Chronosphere. Ice, he airballs it. Whoa. Won't find a thing. At least not yet. Looking for a bash. Okay, he's got the bash. Poor Tusk. Dodges the arrow with a snowball, but he's going down. One way or another. I say that! He can't TP, that's the problem here. And there we go. He'll get found.
Nice blink, but pretty academic there. Still, Vici, I just think their ability to initiate is actually really good, but it all relies on having good vision, and their vision still is not great.
It takes them so long to get a kill like that. Like while that's going on, Newbee are farming and pushing bottom lane, the mid lane's pushing, they're missing out on a lot of resources on the map, so doesn't feel like...
with all these blink daggers, Newbee's actually playing this really, really correctly. Yeah. They're opening up the map a lot.
I really like the blink on Jug. This used to be something carries had to do against Void, like back when he was the Cancer Pub hero. Just get blink regardless of what hero you were. Being able to maneuver around the Chronosphere. Even potentially when you see him come in on you, you can blink out and dodge Chronospheres, so it does give you some ability to outplay the Faceless Void.
Yeah, totally. That's actually a really good point. And a lot of times when like a hero is gone for a while and he comes back, people don't like remember how to play against him, how to play correctly to counter it. But Jug, you know, made the exact correct decision. I think Blink was a good purchase for sure. I think he's up.
But it's Roche o'clock, and we mentioned BKB for Gyro. It looks like BKB, yep, it's coming down the courier. So he's going to have BKB Aegis, and Vici Gaming's high ground push is pretty damn scary.
Yeah, I think it's better than even odds they take at least one set of racks off this. I don't see how they don't.
I'd put my money on them taking like a single lane of racks here. But we'll see. It's Newbee Young so far, remaining composed, have shown that they do match up pretty well against Vici Gaming. The main thing, like I feel like they're playing well and doing everything right, but they're just always slightly behind, and they're playing just very standard and safe and solid. But how are they going to win? They're not going to win the game by playing like this against Vici Gaming.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Newbee just made a couple mistakes in sort of the early mid-game transition that kind of ruined their plan. Like their plan to win this actually wasn't bad in my opinion, but once their timing got away from them, Vici just sort of knows how to snowball a game.
TP's out, Newbee Young not getting scattered out by the arrow, and not going to go for the push quite yet. He's being plagued by an Invoker who's just chasing him with the Ghost Walk.
Wow, he's going Aghanims. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, he is a utility hero now. I think this is justifiable for sure.
Yeah. What's DK picking up? It will be a Sanj, so super, possible SMY, possible Halberd, but I imagine most likely an SMY, not exactly a great Halberd game.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah. Also, SSS could go Octarine, get an Arcane Rune, and then permanently disable cooldowns with time dilation.
Okay, that sounds like a strat if I've ever heard one.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
I don't think the game will take that long. This looks like a strong.
That's a spell you just... I mean, I'm completely new to casting it. It's like it's hard to know exactly what to expect from this spell.
Sure. Wrecks people with blinks, for sure.
Yep. It messes with all your cooldowns when you're using spells, so...
It's such a new thing, yeah. I've never seen anything like it.
Alright, so we talked about the racks here, and it looks like they're kind of taking the steps they need to get it. They're going to actually go for a jump here. Chronosphere only catches the Invoker. They missed the Darkseer with that one. Just be careful of the Vacuum Wall coming out. A stolen Chronosphere from Rubik. Looks the Vici Gaming backlines down. Burning Fenrir. Both caught in this one. They're going to lose Ice buyback from the Darkseer. Burning. Trying to get himself this melee racked, but doesn't look like he'll do so just yet. There's the wall coming out onto a couple of heroes. Burning still with Aegis. Super, meanwhile, will bring down the Juggernaut, and that's a problem for Newbee Young suddenly. That these racks is exposed. Multiple buybacks already used, so even if they hold their racks, it's coming at a very steep cost, and looks like Vici Gaming will respect Newbee Young's return. I say that, yeah. If they lose the Invoker again, oh boy. He's got buyback though, so maybe a third buyback would have to be forced out here. Burning spots the melee racks is low. There's no glyph. They can just get the melee racks and get out here. They'll throw away the Aegis, but if it's a melee racks, it's well worth it. And looks like it should be Vici. Yep, they get the melee racks. Now they just need to get the hell out. Burning thinks about going with the range racks. Thinks better of it, and they will be on their merry way.
Yeah, they got a couple kills, and they didn't buy back the Invoker. That's about the only good news. The Jug had to buy back, which is actually critical.
And the Darkseer as well.
Yeah, that's a little less of a big deal, because Darkseer has enough farm right now where getting a ton more items won't make a huge impact on the game until much later. But the Jug buyback is extremely critical, because he doesn't actually have that many items. He has a Yasha and a Basher, which is a good start, but...
I'll take that as tribute.
Okay. Oh, and here come the Ancient Stacks. So Burning, he's been ever persistent, keeping up the Dominator Ancient Stacks, and this just means he's going to remain well ahead of any of the Newbee Young heroes as far as farm goes. Picks up a Satanic now, so
wow.
Items galore.
Full Satanic plus 1500. Burning is very, very scary this game.
And that's the thing, you play the passive game in Newbee Young's hands rather than like the fighting one, and Burning will he'll burning you. He'll just farm away, and you're not going to outcarry this guy. So he recognizes what kind of game it is and adjusts his playstyle accordingly. If he was forced into fighting against Newbee Young, he would have done so as well, but when he needs to farm, he will.
Sure, yeah. He's when people act like they forgot about B, then he's always ready to. I don't know. I've been pretty impressed with Burning lately. I feel like there was this period where he was, I wouldn't say bad, but he was definitely not up to his own standard. And then in the Summit, I think he played really well. And I don't know. Yeah, I think he's. I like what he's doing.
I think it was more like during the major and perhaps a bit leading into the major where he didn't seem as natural onto the more like aggressive carry heroes, but that's completely changed. Especially as Gyrocopter is perfected, I'd say. Top lane, Newbee Young actually threatening the high ground here, but iG.V, 4-man chrono. Here comes the DK and ulti form. Here comes the cooldown from Burning with a BKB. They get 2. It's about to be a 3rd and a 4th. Oh dear. That was a bit of a Hail Mary. Going for the high ground there. They got it down to below half HP, but Vici Gaming, all they needed was iG.V with a Chronosphere.
That was a desperation play for sure from Newbee Young.
I like them going for that kind of a play though. Like you've already lost a melee racks, and you look at this game. If you're Newbee Young, you're thinking if we just sit back doing nothing, we're gonna slowly lose. It may take 50 minutes, it may take 60 minutes, but we're not gonna win the game if we just sit back. Vici Gaming will win that game 99% of the time. So they decide to make a play like that. Like that to me is a better move than just sitting back and letting Vici slowly beat you.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. I think it was smart to take a chance of some sort. So obviously it didn't go the way that they hoped, but the Manta style on the Void just trumps the Invoker Orchid in such a way that the Void just becomes almost unanswerable.
iG.V is buying items in the enemy fountain now. Picks up an Ag Scepter. They'll take a second lane of racks, and with that, it pretty much seals the deal here as far as game 1 goes. But for now, Newbee Young gonna hold on. They'll find a kill on the Bane. Actually secure themselves a gem.
He blinked in.
Well, maybe not his finest play this game. They'll also get a D-ward off from this one. So with a gem in hand, perhaps going to look to play this one out a bit longer. But realistically,
I don't think this is a winnable game, unfortunately.
No.
I mean, they didn't play poorly. I think they made a lot of really good decisions, but Burning in particular has just gotten so huge.
Yeah, and this is just the kind of team when they play the safe standard Dota, Burning will just look so good against. So definitely a comfortable game for Burning and Vici Gaming. But as you kind of said, Newbee Young showing some signs of life, and SCC completed Hex is not going to get too much out of this item right now, but across the board, good to see some of the new heroes here. Void, I haven't been that impressed by Mirana's impact this game. I feel like the hero was a bit of a non-factor. I don't know about you.
I agree. They didn't even really get the early ganks off on Darkseer or anything like that.
Yeah.
Mirana was she's been fine, but nothing special.
The safe lane was actually that's the other thing. Vici Gaming safe lane should have gone a lot better. They probably shouldn't have allowed Darkseer to get level 2. But
they got lucky, honestly. They were kind of given a gift when the Tusk and Darkseer dove the gyro, gave him a double kill early on. Like you don't do that.
Well, another kill going the way of Super on the Dragon Knight. He's had a pretty much perfect game as well. It's kind of hard to talk up a Dragon Knight performance just because the hero by nature doesn't do anything flashy ever, unless you go like armlet builds and make big plays happen. But he's kept up on farm. He's led the way as far as taking objectives and just playing stable Dota.
His only death was due to that truly egregious and sure to be patched in a minor patch soon mid-abuse.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was in the first like 3 minutes of the game. So realistically, like he hasn't died at any important stage of the game.
Yeah. They called GG. I think, there's no point in extending it any longer. I would have even GG'd after the high ground push, honestly. But
yeah,
I think they availed themselves pretty well. But Vici's mostly, if you don't really mess up Vici at the drafting phase, like the talent is almost overwhelming. You really have to have something clever in mind.
All right, Vici Gaming, solid opening to the Rad&Dire Cup here in their campaign. Hopefully have things go a bit smoother for game number 2. We're going to hop ourselves in the lobby quickly. Do I still have the password? I hope I do, because I don't want to miss this one. I don't know if being in the lobby is going to help. I hope it does help. Sorry about the lag issues, guys, on the stream. If it keeps up, we can always watch from the Chinese stream, but for now we're going to try. All right, I'm in the lobby. That's good news. Game number 2.
I'll be right there.
Should be starting soon, guys. We're going to take a quick break, make sure everything's working and in smooth order, and we'll be back. Myself, GoDz, and Vykromond bringing you guys the Rad&Dire 2015 Cup from China. It's a LAN played, I think, over $150,000 with some of the best Chinese teams. So stay tuned. More Dota coming your way soon.